What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of C's Retro Garage here in outer space in the free state of Florida. This is going to be a two-part video. First one's going to be how to troubleshoot and diagnose, and the second part will be installation of one of those guys right there. What happens when a light fixture just goes bad on you? So let's check it out. Now, of course, we start with the obvious, the bulb. This actually happens to be a brand new bulb. I have two of these. Tested it, and still nothing. So we move to the next simplest thing, which is from the bulb to the switch. So these are the light switches here. This is the light switch that corresponds to that light. This is the light out front, and this is the light that's right above. So as you can tell, there is power, at least we know, going here and here. This part we'll get to momentarily, but we'll flick it to the on position, swing around, have a look, and as you can see, at least for now, this is not the culprit. Not this guy, not the bulb. So what's the next step? Let's go to the garage. So in the garage is where I have my fuse panel. So we'll go ahead and open the fuse panel. Alright. This is the previous owner's, chicken scratch, not mine. I have my own chicken scratch. But as you can tell here, we're looking for the switches. Now this is an older fuse panel. The only one that was updated was the ones for the air conditioner. You can see right there, you can tell they're a little bit newer. They actually have the trip sensor there. These do not. So we're looking for it. Here's the, the outside garage and bath. So, since we know that's the very last one, which is 23, we can turn it, have a look. Light. Let's go inside, make sure the switch is on, take a look again, and we still have no light. So now, what do? Now it's time to get down to the fun stuff. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna just pull the bulb out for, your own safety. Okay. And usually these fixtures come off pretty easy. There are these little nuts here. You're gonna have to unscrew it. In the case of this one, they're probably rusted. So we'll just go get a pair of pliers, take those off, and then you'll see right back there. Okay, now I had no choice but to cut them off because they were that rusty. So just a little bit of angle grinder action. But as you can see, look at the hornet's nests there. Now I think those are dead, simply because had they not been, they would have already been all over my ass when I started jiggling this thing around. But just as a precaution, I'm going to spray them with some hornet spray, wait about 5 minutes, get some shit falling out of there, wait about 5 minutes, and then clear it out, because we don't want to be breathing that stuff in. Alright, at this point we're testing for continuity. Okay, these are just basically two positive leads. This is the ground here. We're getting nothing with the switch being on position. With that being said, we could just switch this to 200 volts, okay, and go touch ground, and we're not seeing any play here whatsoever. This part of the wire here is the fixture itself, so we're getting no continuity with any of these leads at all. A good chance that this fixture is shot. For those of you that were curious, this was full of hornets' nests. Now it's empty. It's clean. We're not getting any type of reading here. So let's try this again. Looks like we're getting a little jump in voltage. So it could also be that this ground here, as you can see, it's a little bit contaminated. Right, this, of course, you know what that is. That's the switch. It could be that this is contaminated with paint. And we see little spikes here and there. So the next thing to try will be to check it at the switch itself to see if it's this guy that's shot or the switch. Alright, so here's an example of continuity. So we have the ground that's on the actual bar itself, on the bracket itself, I should say. Let's see if I can hold this a little better. And you're going to hear that buzzing noise. Once they start making noise here. There's your continuity. So we know that the ground to the switch itself is working. We can go ahead and troubleshoot that switch. And this is, of course, with the fixture removed. But again, we're not getting any real type of response. As far as, and again, this could just be because of contamination. But you can see little spikes in electricity. But we can go ahead and check the switch. Safety first, turn the switch off to kill the power, and then we go from there. So let's say you want to go the extra mile and you just want to double check that the wiring is good to the switch. You get one of these nifty little guys. This cable tracker, although we used to call them either wand toners or line toners, is what they are. You set this on tone. When you hit test, you'll get that little noise. As you can see, that is going to follow the wiring all the way until you start losing it. So you know the wiring doesn't come this way. If you go in the house, the wiring picks up. Okay. And it'll get strongest where it ends. So for sure we know this right here, this is our switch. Alright, so here we are, back to the meter. Check it. Okay, we know that it's got continuities working. It's basically the same principle. So this is the front light that we know works. So if you look in there, you see there's two screws. Those are the two leads. We got continuity. This is the light right above you. As you can tell, that one is working. So we go ahead and we test that one. Whoops. Oh no. So we know that one's working. And this is the switch that goes outside. So we know this one is working well. So the problem is not the switch. It's got to be the fixture. Alright, so the final question is probably going to be, so how do you know it's not the breaker? Well, real easy, because if it was the breaker, then nothing else in the garage would work. Because that cuts off literally that whole side, including the garage door. The garage doors work and everything's working, except for that light. So, the troubleshooting's over, the diagnosis is we have a bad fixture. So, now, let's jump over to part 2, so we can replace that fixture and get a nice, fresh, clean new light.